It's probably one of the most debated and controversial topics in the e-commerce world. What's the better traffic source, Facebook ads or Google ads? And this question takes almost like religious form sometimes. These two are not seen as like just ways to get traffic, but entire foundations of your business. In today's video, I want to talk a bit about the pros and the cons of each of these two platforms and what might be most useful for you as a small to medium-sized e-commerce business owner. Now, before I dive in, just one very quick note. I have a new Instagram account where I share some like behind the scenes info, regular tips, as well as some more Q&As. So make sure to check the link in the description to follow me there if you're interested in e-commerce, Google Ads, and performance marketing. Now, if you want the very, very short answer to this whole Facebook versus Google debate, then it's a very straightforward: use both. But I think you're here for the longer, more thoughtful answer to those platforms, because you may have to decide, because you have a limited budget or a limited time or something like that. And in this case, you should definitely keep watching. Let's start with a very, very important premise. Both platforms offer a huge variety of ad types, targeting methods, allow for a very diverse set of advertising strategies, okay? And because of that, you should barely dismiss either one of those two completely. Both are applicable to probably like 95% of online stores out there in one way or another. But as a rule of thumb, for example, Facebook can be seen as the more visual, more audience-based approach, right? So that's something that we can definitely say. And Google tends to be the more direct response, intent-based approach. So that's one way that we can sort of separate them on a very high level. Now, this doesn't mean that Facebook is good for branding and impressions only and it, cannot drive any sales or something, obviously, because in this it can be very powerful as well. But generally, I can say that Google, at least shopping and search, are closer to the actual sale. So they tend to be the lower hanging fruit, generally speaking. When I say Facebook in this sense, of course, I mean Facebook and Instagram. So I mean the Facebook platform as a whole, as well as the Google platform as a whole, which means also YouTube and Google Display and things of that nature. So let's focus on Facebook ads for a bit first. I made the experience that the platform makes the most sense in the following scenarios, or in at least one of the following scenarios. First of all, your potential customers aren't actively looking for your product yet because it's novel, because it's very innovative, because people don't know that it exists yet. Very straightforward. In that case, Facebook can be very powerful. And important here is we're not talking about your exact model, right? We're not talking about your exact specific product. We're talking about entire categories or product types. So as an example, when you sell a colorful phone case that doesn't exist in this exact color scheme or design yet, it's a unique product, but people are actively looking for colorful phone cases all the time. So here Google might work very, very fine as well. It's really about those products that are totally novel and new or unique and people are not actively looking for them. Or you have a very visual product that is great for good photo or video ads with a bit more context than on Google Display, for example. Because on Facebook, you can use more copy in your ad, you can give more context. On Google Display and Discovery, for example, you're a lot more limited in how much you can write. So if it's very visual, if you want to use a lot of copy, things like that, Facebook can be great. Or you want to make use of very granular targeting because you have a very, very specific product. In this sense, Facebook targeting is still better when it gets to very, very specific things than on Google. Or you want to scale very quickly and massively because Facebook can be scaled quicker and usually to a larger extent than Google, at least in a sort of short time frame. Now, this list is by no means exclusive, but it hopefully illustrates in which direction the use cases for Facebook really go, right? It's audience targeting, it's visual advertising, it's scaling. With Google, things are a little bit different, and that's what I want to talk about now. So depending on how you use it, Google can be quite a almost like passive platform to some degree, okay? What do I mean by that? Well, unlike Facebook, you don't need to feed Google with new creatives all the time, right? So new picture, new image, new video, new carousel ad or something. A Facebook audience can be exhausted if you run the same ad for too long to the same people. You see that the frequency goes up, the click-through rate goes down, generally the performance goes down if you do that, so you have to constantly feed it new visuals. On Google, there are always new people searching for the keywords or products you've set up, so you cannot really exhaust the audience, at least in theory, right? Your campaign, in theory, can literally run for months or even years and perform very, very well. well because people are always searching for the things that you sell, and it's not based on an audience but on the intent of people. So I have clients that I'm working with for 2 or 3 years, and we have powerful campaigns running, of course with adjustments for that long of a time. Now don't get me wrong, of course that doesn't mean that Google Ads is like easy or they don't need management or constant optimization, right? Definitely that's far from the truth, but they don't need a constant supply of like high quality creatives, which is a big plus if you don't have like an in-house artist, a design team, or you don't have the time or skills to do it yourself. In that way, Google is actually easier to maintain, but there are like other obstacles, of course. So same as with Facebook, if your business meets the following criteria, or at least one of them, then you have a pretty high chance that Google will work very well for you. First of all, you have a large catalog of thousands of products, for example, because then you can make best use of Google's site crawling, dynamic search, shopping ads, all those things get better with lots of products. Or you have products that people are specifically looking for, whether it's because it's a brand, it's a part to a certain product, whether it has a model number, whether people are really actively looking for it, but you know that's the key thing with Google Ads. Also, anything fashion related can work very well with Google Shopping in that case. People are looking for sneakers, for shirts, for dresses, for all that stuff. You give them those products visually and they appear on Shopping and it works great. Or the opposite, functional, non-visual products that they can use in their homes or something that they just need right now that is fairly boring, you can give it to them on Google in a very straightforward way. You don't really have to convince them as much as on Facebook, where, you know, very boring products are a lot harder to sell. But also high ticket products, right? High ticket products are easier to sell on Google because you're closer to the sale. You don't have to talk to people, or you don't have to talk them into it that much. That gives you an edge when it comes to high ticket, but also when you want to do contextual targeting. So if you want to, for example, show your ads on a specific website, specific YouTube channel, things like that. Now, these were also just some points, but what's extremely important here, that there is a very big gray area on this whole topic, because many products and entire businesses are perfectly fine with either Facebook or Google or both. Okay, so it's not that, hey, your business should only be run on Facebook, yours only on Google. Personally, I feel like Google is the more beginner-friendly version because you typically see results somewhat quicker and with usually less of a budget, but truly scaling and optimizing it to the highest possible level is definitely tricky and requires a lot of, ongoing effort, unique strategies, really mastering the platform, all those things. So it's easy to enter, but it's hard to really scale and get the maximum results out of it. Facebook typically requires a higher testing budget, so you may spend more before you see any sort of return. The big advantage here is that Facebook can be scaled quickly, so once something really works and works really well, chances are you can 10x your daily budget in a very short time frame as opposed to Google. But then this campaign may die out completely in a matter of days or weeks, very rarely months. Okay, so all in all, I highly recommend, first of all, that you try both of them if you have the time or the budget. If you don't have a big budget but a lot of time, or if you want to do it yourself, I recommend definitely to go with Google first. It's the lower hanging fruit most of the time for most e-commerce business owners. If you don't have the time but a pretty large budget, I definitely recommend to get someone like, for example, me on board who can help you set the ads up for you entirely, or to drastically cut your learning curve by working close with you, because you should absolutely make use of this platform in some way. Don't forget that both of these are only as good as you make them. So without the proper skills, the preparation, the strategies, the testing, the optimization, the constant supply of new ads, whether it's text or visual based, without those things, both platforms will not necessarily work for you on the large scale. Now, with this being said, sometimes all it takes is understanding the platform better and finding out which sort of hidden strategies and methods there are that can separate you from the rest, because it's of course about running good ads, right? And this is something that I offer in my eCom PPC Academy training, or in my immediate one-on-one work with people, whether it's managing their ads or working with them. This is something that you can also check in the description, just as my Instagram account, which you should really take a look at. And yeah, if you like videos, enjoy videos like this, whether it's on Google Ads, e-commerce, dropshipping, performance marketing, and if you want to learn more about those things, first of all, I have a lot of videos on this channel that talk about these things specifically, especially Google Ads. And if you want to learn more about it, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell as well to not miss out on new videos. And now I hope that you will have lots of success with your e-commerce store, with your e-commerce business, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video again. Bye-bye.